the hustle. Do the hustle. Do the hustle. Do the hustle. Let me. What's up, YouTube people? Shaggy in his house. Gangity, gangity, gang. All kinds of love. Just all kinds of love going out to my fans over there at the r/alternate history hub. Love you, Octawave. Love you. Begins the word G. All kinds of love to all the people who've been showing up and showing out. Brittany and Rakeem. Love you guys. Mad love to Don't Watch Continue. And Dog Rose. And Renzo Flutes. And Pythagoras. I think he be tuning in sometimes. So mad love to you, bro. Also, Marie. Spatspert. I don't think I be saying his name right. What's that, producer? That doesn't exist? Yes, I should have texted Rakim. And I should have texted DaCosta. But I did not. And now the first 2 minutes of introductions is utterly worthless. Utterly and horribly worthless. So, I guess we're just going to dive into this. I'm going to try and see today if I can read until the end of this book that I'm 117 pages into, or 116 pages into for all practical intents and purposes. And you know what? I am going to take a minute, though, to text DJ and let him know that I am going to be on here. So y'all better go sub to against Word G. Because my army of fans deserves it. Do you? Schwaggity swaggy, here comes Shaggy. Oh my gosh. So, remember to smash that like button. So somebody will have to make the trip. They will have those tow ships in the nest. They could drag somebody to safely. Volker says, we can send somebody from the engine room or maybe a guardsman. My mind races as I think about the predicament we're in. It's a dangerous journey crossing over the camels, even if they were life rafts. They're still prone to breaking down and are not as sturdy as full-treaded ships. I don't want to lose another sailor out here. I'll do it, I say. I have friends at the Eagle's Nest anyway who will recognize me and we can get help quicker. I'll go on the camel. Your posa? Volker insists. You don't need to do this. I ordered the maneuver, and the maneuver failed. This is my responsibility, so I'll go on the camel to get us help. I'll come with you, Ulrich says. No, I reply. You stay here with Volker and keep an eye on everything. Camels aren't safe. I'm not a child, Ulrich argues. When you were my age, you did far more dangerous things. You got your arm blown off. I wasn't a knight. You are, I state, my temper flaring. I don't need to worry about my brother in the desert. You should really listen to your brother, Ulrich, Volker insists. Do you need to do more research with your book anyway? I'm not going to do research while worrying if Ansel is safe or not, Ulrich states flatly. I mean, we disagree, but still, I'm coming with you. I'm not having this conversation, you're staying, Volker says. Volker, prepare a camel for me. I'm heading out in an hour. I repeat myself as I stroll to the door and open it. I begin descending the staircase and hear a dangerous footstep behind me. Stop it, Ulrich. You don't know how dangerous it is out there. It's safer here? I turn and look at him 3 steps above me. Yes, it is. We have guns and men, and most importantly, the closest thing to a shelter in this desert. I need you here. What if something happens? Am I supposed to wonder what happened to my brother? If I don't come back by nightfall, they'll send another camel to look for us. We have 3, it won't be long. Ulrich takes off his helmet in the safety of the cool staircase. Leaning close to me, whispers, I'm going, and I don't feel safe here anyway. What do you mean? Your crew has been treating me rather oddly, I think. It's because I've been interrogating that scavenger. They seem suspicious of me. It's stupid, but I just feel uncomfortable if you leave me alone with them. My mind races in confusion. Crew treating Ulrich badly? What the fuck? What are you talking about? Who's been treating you badly? What are they doing? I want names. It's just a feeling of mine. You know that feeling in the pit of your stomach, that gut instinct something isn't right? Far too well. I get that every time I'm eating lunch or walking in the halls. They stare and mutter as if I'm a threat. They suspect me of siding with the scavenger, of being sympathetic. I don't know, but after what happened to the drop in wetsuit, I don't feel safe here. Please. I look at my brother, who has genuine concern on his face. My blood simmers as I contemplate how many feel that despicable way against a kid his age. Oh my gosh, my mouth is already getting dry. Ah, fine, I say. We're getting done with this journey and get back to Europe with names. I want names and we'll handle it. Let's just get this fixed. Thank you, he says. We make our way down the stairs and underneath the dock. The camels are housed in a large garage at the bottom of the ship. Men are rushing around us, attempting to fix anything they can and preparing for the long wait and the howling dark we'll be in for. I study every face, thinking about how one could be planning something against Ulrich. First, I damaged my own ship, and now I might not even be able to trust my own crew. Ulrich and I walk through a doorway, and a series of small hallways opens up into a larger hangar. In front of me stands a line of 3 large orange vehicles held up by 4 wheels at either side. These were camels, large compared to a human, yet small compared to anything we find in the desert. Only a small light machine gun is propped on the top of the vehicle. These aren't meant for offense, to put it lightly. I need supplies for the day's journey to the Eagle's Nest, I tell one man dressed in a cloth of burgundy. Food, weapons, water. He nods and gathers other men to fetch the goods we need for our trek. When we go out there, you need to realize it won't be long on this ship. It's an island in the sea, I tell Ulrich. Oh no, he responds, we can't take risk. The man hurries through the doorway and enters the hangar, his helmet off, revealing a sweaty and disheveled First Officer Volker. Did you get the supplies? Volker asks out of breath. I assume he ran downstairs. The men are getting what we need for the journey right now, I say, examining the inside of the vast hangar. It's dark and musty, with only a few hanging lamps for light. After a few minutes of waiting, a line of men begin to load up our camel with the supplies we need. They all go on our way. Are you sure you can hold everything down while I'm gone? I ask Volker. More than I do already? He laughs and we shake hands. Good luck to both of you out there, he says, shaking hands with Ulrich as well. You as well, First Officer, I say. Ulrich and I walk back to the open back of the camel. It's a large transport meant to fit around 10 people, so that means we'll have enough space. Are you sure you don't want any more men to come with you? Volker asks me, standing outside the camel. I don't want to risk any more on this journey, I shout back. This is my job. And I give him a smile before I press the button on the side wall, which will begin closing the large hatch inside. As the camel's hatch slowly shuts, Volker raises his arm outstretched in salute. Sieg Heil, he calmly says. I repeat the same thing back. Oh, God, I hate wearaboos. The hatch rises over his face and Volker disappears from view. A few seconds later, it closes with a deafening hiss, signifying that the cabin is pressurized and ready for travel. The lights around Ulrich and me illuminate the gray steel box that is this vehicle. A row of seats line the edge of walls leading up to the cockpit of the wheel. I didn't want you to come on this with me, I said to Ulrich, sitting, and I get up and pace across the cabin to the seat in front of the camel and prop myself neatly on it. Both hands wrap around the wheel as I take the large windowed space that the front provides. Oh no, Ulrich replies. Alarms blare throughout the hangar. Red lights swirl around the great large doors as they swing open. The bright light of the kiln floods the eyes of the sea of salt, revealing itself. Dust and sand hug the steel portrait of the whistling of wind. My rusted arm presses a single button on the dashboard of the camel. The vehicle rumbles, its engines roar to life, awoken from its slumber. Everything vibrates for a few seconds before settling down. I look to my left and see Volker, his hand raised in salute. I meet him with a nod and then turn back to the desert before me. Ulrich appears to my right, plopping himself down the other seat. His face isn't laced with nervousness, but anticipation. The same anticipation as when he first came to this place. I don't want Ulrich here, not just in this camel, but in this land. I knew it was a terrible idea to include him on such a dangerous journey, but instead of listening to my gut, I suppressed it and allowed my little brother to be put in this situation. If you weren't here, perhaps I'd drive this camel towards the nest, hoping, though pleading, that another scavenger ship would find me. The howling dark would send another camel. My men would survive without me. My mind is tantalized by the image of me walking into the desert one last time, gun in hand, ready to face down them all. Ulrich says that seeing your opponent before you kill them doesn't matter, but I couldn't disagree more. There truly is nothing like it. I feel myself getting weaker every day. My breath labors, my skin wrinkles, my back aches. There's no greater curse than living past your prime. Walking out into the desert to face down the scavengers that way, I wouldn't want to go. I was robbed of that back in the military. I was robbed of a noble death. This rusted arm reminds me of it every time I wake up. And as I press the pedal and the camel moves forward, its tires hitting the desert ground with a graveling thump, my mind goes blank. All I think about is the pleasure of serving the wreck, the pleasure of dying with honor. Yet, now, with Ulrich at my side, I cannot do that. He is better than I, knows more about the wreck than I. He'd serve our race better than I ever could, even if we disagree. So, as the camel travels forth away from the broken down ship, I put aside in my mind whether the will for a glorifying death and focus on the dark towers up ahead. Okay, I just had to finish up that chapter, but just I hope you've seen me flash in the faux sign, foe. Against the world. G is in the house reading to this, listening to me reading this insane ass book. Faux faith, NFA gang, faith, gang. Faith in the gang, faux faith. Faux. That's the only thing I'm screaming is faux. That's the only thing I'm screaming. There's mad love going out to Cody's Lounge and the Alternate History Hub Discord. And they're just talking about politics now. But that's okay because we are up to 80 subs. We got 80 subs. We got 80 subs. We got 80 subs. We got 80 subs. Hey, 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 80 subs. Hey, hey. Mad love once again goes out to Against the World. Gee. Oh my goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. We getting some text messages and I need to answer my phone. Yes. I will keep shouting you out, my brethren, because I have shouted you out before, and I shall continuously shout out you and continue. As in Don't Watch Continue, as in you should subscribe to Don't Watch Continue on YouTube, as well as Dog Rose, Pythagoras, The Trash Panda, Spat Spurt, and of course, the Alternate History Hub. Home of Alternate History. Gonna send just some quick little heart emojis because you are greatly appreciated, homie. Oh, but someone else has texted me as well. Schwaggity swag. We're trying to finish reading the Atlantropa articles. We're on The Kiln, which is on page 123, as Cody Franklin is beyond numbering his chapters. He is the illustrious Cody Franklin. The howling dark has disappeared past the rippling waves of hot desert air. The soft flats have evolved into the rougher terrain of sandy dunes. Looking forward, I can see the gradual curves transforming into larger hills. Camels are built for these steep inclines on the slippery slopes. However, it makes our journey far longer as a result. Wind howls past the wide windows of the cockpit, carrying the dust cloud kicked up by the tires high up in teal blue skies. It is the only cloud in sight. With my foot on the pedal, I push the camel to its limits. It bounces and sways as it collides with the rolling dunes. Thoughts in my head persist of another scavenger ship arriving and finishing off the crew. They'd put up a reasonable fight with their still operating guns, but without mobility the ship would be like a sitting duck. Those dark towers are growing. The tall, spindling structures act as a beacon. Ulrich sits next to me, looking out into the wide open stretch of nothingness. I told you to let me call in the drop, Ulrich says again, his eyes staying focused on the dunes outside. My fists clench around the steering wheel. I can feel my heart race faster as the vehicle travels down below the sandy desert. I've done that maneuver before, I repeat. Yeah, I know, he says. You've done everything down here before, but you know what happened? You got arrogant. You thought this place was your personal little sandpit, that you could do whatever you pleased, and you were wrong. Shut the fuck up, I curse, closing my eyes for just a second. What happened to you, Ansel? Ulrich mutters in disgust. Is this what the kiln does? Changes people? When was the last time you were in Ninja Mania? I think about it. My eyes feel like they're coming out of my sockets. What kind of situation is this? The fucking stress is gonna kill me. I feel like my heart's gonna explode. 8 years ago, I say, feeling my head. In 8 years, you probably haven't even been up north. Ulrich asks me, which I respond with a yes. He puts his hands to his eyes. This isn't how regular Europeans act. You disregard the laws. You harm the other Aryans. You act like a bloodthirsty savage when confronted with the opportunity. They attacked our ship. It wasn't just our ship, he cuts me off. If you did it to that girl as well, this place is not what the Rock inspired would be like. It isn't what Atlantropa was supposed to be at all. It is savage. It makes people savage. It made you savage. Just admit it. Admit what? I growl. Admit that you only stay in this fucking desert because it's how you can escape the prying eye of the Reich you pretend to so deeply care about. I serve the Reich in my own way. I don't need you coming to the kiln and telling me how I act in this desolate wasteland is bad, I mutter, keeping my eyes squarely on the dunes ahead. The towers of the Eagle Nest glow slowly closer as we get. Ulrich didn't respond, and we just sat in silence for a few minutes. It's not even about the rock, Ulrich says. After the last few days, I've been thinking about what point of the place even is. I'm sure we could come up with some other solution for renewable energy. Do we even need to depend on the dams anymore? What? I laugh. You want to just flood the kiln? What's the point of the place? Ulrich argues, his voice raising. If we got rid of the dams, it'd put a barrier between us and the rest of the world. We'd have the sea again, and we wouldn't need to worry about any scavengers attacking our people. They could just get water vessels, I state. They would actually attack Europe. So you're telling me the strongest nation on earth couldn't keep out a few pirates? Ulrich concludes with a laugh. I sit in silence, running my hand through hair in frustration. We're talking about the fucking Atlantropa dams, I say, staring out the window. You know how insane you sound? You know how insane you've become, Ulrich retorts. Why would we want to keep the kiln? All it is an immoral place that corrupts normal people. It's a burden on Europe, if anything. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's the best option we have right now. I say without those dams, Europe wouldn't have energy. We'd fall right back into the chaos like the Great War. I don't know. Perhaps if we could figure out some better way to have renewable energy, we wouldn't need the dams, Ulrich concludes. Say we did. Say we did what? Say we came up with a new form of renewable energy and didn't need the dams anymore. Europe is still stable and we don't need the kiln. That's the perfect solution, he theorizes with an upraised, matter-of-fact finger. I don't say anything for a few seconds. The temples of my head are beating. I can feel my chest heaving faster and faster. Why not breathe? I can't live up north. I admit there's no response from Ulrich. I'd go insane doing anything else. This ship, the kiln, with all of its flaws, is the only place I thrive. I can't go north again. We'd never have to fight the scavengers in our territory again. All those men who just died, the people of the Eagle's Nest over the years, they'd be safe. Witzel might be. I enjoy it, I said flatly. The killing, all of it. Just killing those scavengers fucks. Seeing them squirm when I cut them up limb by limb. After everything I've seen, it makes life worth living. That's your answer. Ulrich looks at me with emotionless eyes before turning to look back out the window. There's no retort from him again. What were once distant dark blurs have transformed into a forest of tall spiraling towers sprouting out of the desert floor. As the ship slowly makes its way forward, the collection of buildings reveal themselves in all their glory. The traditional Eagle's Nest colony often only has one tower, a wide tree-like structure that stretches 1.5 kilometers into the air. The thin towers ripple in the desert air. They are so close as I gaze out toward them, suddenly everything goes bright, then silent. Pain shoots through my face. I clutch my eyes shut. I think I curse, but I'm not sure. Everything goes dark. When I come to, there is wind. So much wind as I attempt to open my eyes. I'm greeted with a blast of dead air. My hand goes to my mouth, and I look down. I see a palm covered in scarlet liquid. Fuck, everything swirls about. I feel around. I can tell I'm no longer in my seat. Everything is metal and steel. As my head swivels around, I notice that am I lying by the right side of the camel? Why am I on the side of the camel? To my right, I see glass scattered about the cabinet, the remnant of the window that was once there. What hit us? The pain swells in my chest, and I violently cough, and I suddenly realize I don't have my helmet on. The air gets knocked out of me as I continue to cough. My eyes catch something floating above me. Is that sand? No, it's moving too slow to be from the wind. It's smoke, fire. The camel is on fire. Forcing myself onto my side, I prop myself back up with my arms. Blood trickles off the side of my face and hits a metal wall. Where's Ulrich? My eyes open wide at the realization. Ulrich, I cough, continuing to dry heave. Ulrich! A moan radiates throughout the vehicle. It's to my right. In the cockpit, still in a daze, I force myself up and look into the shotgun seat. Ulrich sits slumped over in his chair. His face is speckled with bits of glass, and blood cakes his face. His helmet got knocked off as well. My hands run over his chest and neck. There is no large piece. He didn't end up like Witzel. He's still breathing well. I tap his face a few times, calling his name. Eventually he comes to and his eyes sprang open, followed by a loud gasp. Ansu! He exclaims, his arms clutching his chest. What? What the fuck happened? I don't know, I answer back. I think we hit something. He swivels his head about. The full extent of our situation comes to him. Oh no. I think the camel got busted. I say through coughs. We have to get out of here. Out of here? He questions. We're in a desert. What do we do? Just collect any supplies you need. We have duffel bags in the back. Water, food, energy packs. I think we got about a day of emergency. I spit blood onto the floor. I think I lost some teeth. The day of emergency supplies. Go pack now. He nods his head and flops out of his seat, crawling, and then stumbles about the cabin, which is now full of displaced items. I cling onto the chair and lift myself up. Pain goes through my knee, but I try to ignore. What the hell happened? In days we go around the busted camel. The smoke continues to clog the vehicle. We keep our heads down, grabbing as much supplies as we can and shoving them into makeshift bags. I gather all I can fit and sling one onto my shoulder. It's a large brown bag that fits nicely wrapped around my back. I look to Ulrich, who's still trying to collect everything, but his hands are shaking too much to grasp onto the small packets of food and water. Migrating over, I help my distressed brother, packing everything he'll need and then handing him his armored helmet. He looks at me with panic eyes. I'm stressed as well, but I keep a still facade and maintain my composure, giving him an encouraging look and a pat before placing my own helmet on with a satisfied, pressurized thump. The wind disappears and all I can hear is my own breathing. Can you hear me? I say to him through the short-range radio, pointing at my helmet. Yes, he replies, followed by a cough. All right, I said, we need to get out of here. Where are we going? To get help. Same plan, I announced. I open the back doors of the vehicle and we flounder our way out. I trip, feeling myself traveling through the air before landing hard on my chest in a pile of fine sand. More pain, more heaving hard on my chest from that hit. It feels like I'm in a dream, surrounded by vivid, illuminating colors shining down from us from a large white sun. A hand grasps my bicep and gives a tug. I situate myself on all fours and look around before regaining my step. Ground slips under my feet and I struggle for a moment to maintain traction on the ever-shifting sand. What did we hit? Ulrich questions me through the radio. I look at him in his silver armor now covered in sand. I shake my head. I don't know. We make our way slowly to the front of the smoking vehicle. The wheels rotate delicately in the air. A black, spread out soot covers the front along with more shattered glass.